What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well today. And I want to talk about a little something that broke a little more than an hour ago that has a lot of Seahawks fans in something of a little bit of a panic, or maybe in some bit of a state of relief. Depends on who you are, depends on your perspective on this, of course. But I'm seeing a lot of strong reactions to something that came down a little more than an hour ago from one Ryan Grubb. So, to catch people up real quick, Ryan Grubb, former offensive coordinator for the Washington Huskies. Basically, he's been following Kalen DeBoer around for a while now, but most recently was the offensive coordinator for the Huskies. Followed DeBoer to Alabama, now being considered for the Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator job. A little more than an hour ago, he had this speech in front of the Red Elephant Club, which I guess is a gathering of Alabama fans and boosters, saying that he is the new offensive coordinator for the Alabama Crimson Tide. So a lot of people have taken that statement to be a committing statement from Grubb, basically saying, I'm here to stay. I am going to be the Alabama offensive coordinator for at least this season. And I'm seeing a lot of people have a reaction to this and saying, well, I guess Grubb is now off the board. I guess Grubb is now not coming to Seattle. So the decision comes down to Engstrand, Chip Kelly, or some mystery candidate that could enter at the last minute here from the top turnbuckle. So, first of all, I want to say that this probably does make it less likely that Ryan Grubb comes to Seattle. However, and Greg Bell tweets about this a little bit on X. This was like less than an hour ago, actually. This does not eliminate Ryan Grubb. Understand that him saying something like this is him just doing his job, saying what he needs to say right now, because right now, that's his job. And usually I wouldn't really make a video about something like this, but there isn't a lot else going on that is interesting for Seahawks fans other than this offensive coordinator hunt. We need to get this hire right. If we do not get this OC hire right, then a lot of the air comes out of the balloon on the Mike Macdonald hire, which was stellar. Because if we don't get the OC right now, then it's going to be really hard to get the kind of traction that we want. So this is very important, and I feel like everything that happens needs to be digested properly. It's a world of difference between this and the DC hire, which is worth discussing, and I've discussed it in several videos already. But this is so important. If we nail this hire, we are probably going to be very successful this season. So, like Greg Bell says in this tweet, what Ryan Grubb said today in front of those Bama boosters is not committing. It does not eliminate him from consideration as the Seahawks offensive coordinator. And my understanding is that he still is under consideration. I do find it to be a little bit suspicious that we have not made a decision on him yet. If we really liked him, you would think we would hire him. If we were really impressed by him, you'd think we'd just say, well, you know what, maybe we'll miss out on another good candidate, but we have a candidate we like so much, let's just do it. Same for a guy like Engstrand, and arguably same for a guy like Kelly. We met with him last night, still no hire, so therefore you would kind of expect something to have happened if the interview went really well. But I just want to make it clear here that what happened today was just business as usual. Remember a couple years ago, the Russell Wilson trade? Russell Wilson said the week before the trade was official, I'm a Seahawk and I plan on staying a Seahawk. Pete Carroll saying right when the offseason started, we have no plans of trading Russell Wilson. It's the same kind of thing, guys. It's just what you say in that moment. And you know it can change the next day, the day after, the week after, the month after. But for the moment, you are doing your job. And for the moment, Ryan Grubb is the offensive coordinator of the Crimson Tide, and he has to act like it. He has to act like that is his role. So he can't go out there and say, yeah, I'm your offensive coordinator right now, but just know I might be out of here in a couple of days. Just be prepared. He's not going to do that. Not in front of a bunch of Bama boosters. So I still have mixed thoughts on Ryan Grubb in the NFL, by the way. He would have to modify his system to work in the NFL. But at the same time, if he can, and I think that he can, it's a system that has proven to be very successful. Let's put it that way. It's like these three different hires that we could make right now: Grubb, Engstrand, and Kelly. They all have different strengths and weaknesses. I like all three personally. Like, I would be good with all three. I'm going to just go on record and say that right now. There might be some guys we could hire that I would not be good with, but Grubb, very experienced play caller because he did it for UW, and I believe he did it for a few previous stops as well. He just needs to modify his system. Engstrand, a lot of NFL experience, was somebody who some people are now arguing was the brains behind the operation in Detroit and has more head coaching gravitas than Ben Johnson does and brings a lot of the same stuff that Ben Johnson does. You just have to deal with the fact that he has minimal play calling experience. And then you have Chip Kelly, a guy who has tons of play calling experience and has had a good track record of success in football, calling offense. There are just concerns about his personality and concerns about how well his system will work in the NFL right now because he hasn't been in the NFL and we're closing in on a decade here. But yeah, I see the bright spots and I see the potential downfalls of all three potential hires. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this Ryan Grubb thing a little bit because I'm seeing some people overreact to this. I would call it an overreaction anyway. But the reality is, as of right now, it seems like the main reason why Ryan Grubb hasn't been hired is that he just didn't impress the right people at his interview. That's the sense that I'm getting. Again, we interviewed with Mike McDonald and fairly quickly got something done. Like, we did not interview him until after the Ravens were eliminated, and a few days after the Ravens were eliminated, we made it happen. We went through the process rapidly, and then we just scooped him up because we liked what we saw. And by the way, supposedly every single NFL team out there has their offensive coordinator in place or well after the Super Bowl. So it's not like we are, it's not like there's anybody else that might shake free that we're waiting on here. So I don't know. It just kind of feels like Ryan Grubb is the reason why Ryan Grubb isn't the current Seahawks offensive coordinator more than anything. And I kind of feel the same way about Engstrand, and we'll see the next day or two about Kelly. It's a little early to say anything committing about Kelly. But I don't know. Just feels like the interview maybe didn't go so well. Like, we now know with what they're saying. Ben Johnson's interview with the Seahawks seems like it didn't go very well. Seems like he didn't interview well with Washington either. And that's part of the reason why he stayed. All right, so just wanted to go ahead and clear the air a little bit here because I'm seeing a lot of people sound off on this and acting like, well, it's Engstrand or Kelly, but not so fast. Not so fast. People say things and then have to take them back the next day all the time, especially in this league, especially in this industry. All right? So I'll see you guys probably later tonight on Twitch after dinner, more Persona. Hope to see you there. And if the Seahawks make some kind of a decision, make some kind of a hire, I'll be all over it. But right now, we're just in a holding pattern. And again, this is the final piece of the puzzle for me. The roster, look, we want to nail the roster, but this OC hire is huge. We have to nail this to kind of make up for the fact that our head coach is defensive minded, which is fine, but only if you nail this part. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think. And yeah, don't give up on Ryan Grubb quite yet, Grubb fans.